Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
In the heart of the sprawling alien city of Quoria, where vibrant bioluminescent flora lit the streets and the air buzzed with the sounds of diverse species living in harmony and tension, Abir walked with purpose. A skilled diplomat, she had spent years navigating the delicate balance between human and extraterrestrial relations. The vibrant colors and alien architecture fascinated her, but today, her mind was elsewhere, caught in the whirlwind of expectations and negotiations. As she arrived at the Great Hall of Elders, where the leaders of the Layun tribe awaited her, Abir couldn't shake off a sense of foreboding. The Layun, with their rich traditions and fierce protectiveness over their territory, were notorious for their adherence to ancient laws. Today's proposal would test every diplomatic skill she possessed. Across the chamber, Lucy, the huntress of the Layun, leaned against the wall, her sharp blue eyes studying Abir with a blend of intrigue and contempt. Lucy was a warrior born, known for her lethal accuracy and fierce loyalty to her tribe. The word on the street was that her heart had hardened against outsiders, especially humans. That, Abir mused, could be a problem. The meeting started cordially enough, but as the discussions progressed, tensions escalated. Abir proposed a mutual trade agreement to strengthen their ties, but Lucy, fueled by a sense of tribal pride, vehemently opposed it, believing it would signify weakness. Words turned into heated banter, and the atmosphere thickened with animosity. In a moment of impulsive recklessness, driven by the desire to assert her power, Lucy drew her blowpipe. Abir barely had time to understand the intent behind the shimmering dart as it whizzed through the air. In a stunning display of reflexes, Abir caught it between her fingers, the poison-coated tip glimmering ominously in the light. Gasps filled the hall. "By catching my dart, you have invoked the bonding law," Lucy declared, her voice strong but laden with fury. "You must accept me as your mate, or face the wrath of my tribe." Abir's heart raced, not fully grasping the implications of the ancient law. Her mind swirled with confusion and mounting dread. How could this happen? A bond? With her enemy? Surrounded by the stern faces of tribal elders and an audience eager for any display of dominance, Abir was left with no choice. The dart felt heavy in her hand, a dangerous symbol of a promise she hadn't intended to make. As she locked eyes with Lucy, a strange mix of fear and exhilaration coursed through her veins. This was more than just a political snafu. It was a thrust into an entirely new reality where the fate of their worlds teetered on the edge of an unprecedented bond. Abir stood frozen as the gravity of Lucy's proclamation sank in. Across the hall, the eyes of the tribal elders bore down on her, a mix of expectation and anticipation swirling in their gazes. This was no trivial matter. The bonding law was an ancient tradition that bound two beings together in ways that transcended mere physicality. It involved loyalty, trust, and a union that could rival the strongest alliances. "What do you mean? I must accept you as my mate." Abir found her voice, though it trembled with indignation. This was utterly absurd. She was here to negotiate peace, not entangle herself in an ancient marriage pact. Lucy stepped forward, her expression a mask of intensity and defiance. "You caught the dart, Abir. It is a sign, a rare occurrence meant to bind our fates together. To refuse it would bring dishonor, not only to myself, but to my tribe. You know what is at stake. You should have thought of that before shooting at me." Abir retorted, her heart racing with a blend of fear and anger. The elders watched like hawks, ready to pounce on any sign of weakness or defiance. The tension in the room crackled. Abir glanced at the elders seated at the head of the council, Elder Kareth, whose face bore the deep lines of wisdom and age. He surveyed them with a calm demeanor that seemed to suggest he had seen this kind of conflict numerous times before. "Silence," Elder Kareth finally commanded, his voice resonating through the hall. "The law is clear. If you caught her dart, you must honor the bond, Abir. You have until the next full moon to decide. Until then, you are to remain together." The words hung in the air like a bell tolling at a funeral. As the assembly of tribal leaders dispersed, Lucy remained fixed in her stance, her piercing gaze challenging Abir to defy her. A beer felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. She turned on her heel and stormed out of the hall, not willing to admit the flutter in her stomach was fear mingling with an unexpected thrill. Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting deep hues of purple and orange across the sky. A beer felt the cool breeze whip around her, but inside her chest, her heart was a tempest. How had she gotten into this situation? A diplomat, caught in an ancient law that was foreign and frightening. Not far behind, Lucy trailed a beer, her expression inscrutable. You can't ignore this. It's the law of my people. I didn't ask to be part of your traditions. A beer snapped, whirling to face her. You shot me with a poisoned dart, Lucy. This is madness. Lucy's eyes narrowed. And yet here we are. You have a choice. We can fight this, or we can make it work. Make it work. A beer echoed incredulously. How do you expect that to happen? You're from a world where you hunt and kill without a second thought. I'm human, Lucy. Our worlds don't mix. Perhaps they could, Lucy suggested, crossing her arms. You have power here. Your people have power. We could build something stronger than either of our tribes on our own. A beer laughed, bitterness lacing her tone. Stronger? Or simply a farce held up by a twisted law? It's not twisted, Lucy argued, stepping closer, their faces inches apart. It's destiny. A beer felt the heat radiating from Lucy, an urgency that thrummed in the air. Destiny. I'd rather not be destined to be with someone who tried to kill me today. A heavy silence ensued as they stood there, the fervor of their argument fizzing in the air. But somewhere in a beer's racing mind, a rebellious thought nestled itself, a flicker of curiosity about what this union might mean. Could they truly become something stronger? Did such a bond have the potential for goodness? Look, a beer exhaled, her tone softening slightly. I don't know what this means for either of us, but I need time to think. Time. You have until the next full moon, Lucy countered, her voice filled with a mixture of frustration and amusement. But fine, take your time. Just remember, I'm not going anywhere. With that, Lucy turned and walked away, leaving a beer standing amidst the vibrant alien landscape that suddenly felt much larger. The weight of the world pressed down on her as she stepped toward her quarters, uncertainty clouding her thoughts. This wasn't just a pragmatic issue. It was a collision of worlds, beliefs, and identities. Would she end up honor-bound to someone she barely knew? Companionship based on a near-fatal encounter? The thought sent chills down her spine, both terrifying and strangely exhilarating. Back in the quiet confines of her room, a beer reflected on the day's events, replaying the moment the dart left Lucy's blowpipe over and over in her mind. It was madness, she told herself. Completely insane. And yet, what if it was the spark of something transformative? A bond that defied the limits of their cultures. As night fell over Korea, a beer's determination solidified. She wouldn't shy away from the challenge. Maybe this was her chance to bridge the chasms between two peoples. And maybe, just maybe, she would make Lucy see that there was more to life than gears of tradition grinding down on one's spirit. And with that flicker of hope, she began to draft a plan, a way forward. Days turned into weeks as a beer and Lucy navigated the complexities of their impending bond. The urgency of the bonding law loomed over them, but with each interaction, the initial animosity faded, replaced by an uneasy alliance. A beer found herself face-to-face with Lucy each day as they were required to participate in joint training sessions, a part of the ritual leading up to the union. A beer had insisted on not being a meek participant, and despite her initial reluctance, Lucy agreed to teach her the ways of the Lion, the art of hunting, survival, and self-defense. Today, we'll work on your aim, Lucy said one bright morning, guiding a beer to an open training ground covered with a soft, spongy grass that glowed faintly in the sunlight. A beer had her own blowpipe now, a crafted replica of Lucy's, complete with elegant carvings of lion symbols. The weight felt foreign in her hands, and the sight of Lucy's precision sent a pang of anxiety through her. I'm not sure this is going to work, she admitted, flexing her grip on the blowpipe. Just focus. Lucy instructed, her tone firm yet encouraging. Imagine you're hunting. What are you after? A target, a prize? Don't think, just feel. Taking a deep breath, Abir tried to withdraw from her doubts, visualizing a silhouette of her target, a distant tree with a red fruit glistening in the light. With Lucy beside her, the ground hummed with energy, the world open and vast. She aimed, released, and watched in horror as her projectile swerved off course, landing harmlessly in the grass. "You're tensing up?" Lucy called out, her tone teasing, but with an edge of truth. "You need to relax. Think of this as an extension of yourself." After a few more attempts, with Lucy's guidance encouraging her to let go of her control, Abir hit her mark, albeit accidentally striking the trunk of a nearby tree. "Not bad for a human," Lucy smirked, crossing her arms, her confidence shining through. Abir couldn't help but grin at Lucy's playful banter. "Just wait, I'll get better." As their sessions continued, moments of camaraderie emerged, over shared meals filled with Lion delicacies and exchanges reflecting their differing customs. Abir sensed a gradual thawing of Lucy's icy exterior. "Tell me about your home," Lucy asked one evening, as they sat around a low fire. The sunset draped them in hues of gold and purple, and the sky shimmered with the first stars of night. "What can I say?" Abir reflected, stirring the fire absent-mindedly. "Earth is a beautiful but complicated place. We have our struggles, climates changing, wars. But we also have art, music, technology. Have you ever listened to a human song?" "Not really. Are they violent?" Lucy inquired, a smirk hinting at the corners of her lips. "Some, but other songs can be gentle and beautiful, like a lullaby," Abir explained. "They express emotions we've all shared. Love, sorrow, hope, like the bond we're about to enter." Lucy pondered this, her gaze fixed on the embers. "I suppose our lives are much the same in some ways. It's all about survival. Yet the lion values strength above all. We don't have the time to dwell on song. The strength to protect what you love. It's the same," Abir offered, her heartbeat quickening as their conversation danced closer to the core of their connection. Lucy turned to face her, curiosity lighting up her eyes. "Do you think we could ever feel that for each other?" A heavy silence settled between them, the crackling of the fire punctuating the moment. Abir felt the weight of the question hang in the air. Just days before, such a notion would have sounded absurd, yet now it stirred something deep within her. "Maybe," Abir finally replied, "if we allow ourselves to explore it." From that night onward, the barriers between them began to erode. Days turned into playful banter, nights filled with stories of their worlds, and an undeniable chemistry started to build. However, the outside world would not allow them the peace to settle into this peculiar bond easily. As their connection blossomed, whispers of dissent rose among Lucy's tribe, fueled by an outsider's presence within their ancient and revered culture. One evening, while practicing in the training ground, Abir felt the weight of eyes upon them. A group of lion warriors encircled them, their expressions dark as they assessed the situation. "What is she doing here?" one of them barked, a stocky figure with fierce markings on his face. He stepped forward, clearly agitated. "Abir is no hunter." "Stand down, Calthor," Lucy said firmly, stepping between Abir and the warriors with conviction. "Abir is training to understand our ways. This is who the bonding law has chosen." "Chosen?" Calthor scoffed, crossing his arms. "She is dragging our customs into the mud. What do we gain from this bond? Weakness? Dishonor? Strength comes not just from blood," Lucy began, but Calthor cut her off. "It comes from respect for tradition. We don't twist our laws for the likes of her." He growled, the tension in the air crackling dangerously. Abir, stricken by the hostility, felt an urge to defend herself. "I'm not trying to disrespect your ways. I want to understand. I'm here because I see potential." "Enough," Calthor interrupted, glaring at Abir. "Leave our land, or suffer the consequences." Lucy stepped closer, her voice steady but her expression torn. "We are at a crossroads, Calthor. This bond can be an opportunity for unifying our peoples. Don't throw it away for pride." Calthor's eyes narrowed, his contempt clear. "You are mistaken if you think I will accept weakness in our tribe." As the confrontation escalated, Abir felt overwhelmed. It was clear. The path ahead was not just about her bond with Lucy. It was about facing the prejudices and battles of two worlds clashing. With every training session, every blossoming moment of connection, the external pressures grew heavier. Would Abir possess the strength to stand with Lucy against her own people? Could their bond survive the storm of opposition, threatening to unravel it before it could truly begin? This was a test of hearts, cultures, and the destinies they would forge together. The following days were fraught with tension as Abir and Lucy faced the backlash from the Layun tribe. Whispers of dissent turned into open hostility, and Abir could almost feel the tribe's disapproval weigh heavy in the air. Every interaction was charged with an unspoken challenge as they trained together under the scrutiny of their peers. Remember, Abir, your strength is in your instincts. Lucy encouraged her one morning as they prepared for another training session. But you need to believe that your presence here is more than just an aberration. Easier said than done, Abir replied, squaring her shoulders. It feels like I'm constantly walking a tightrope. Then it's time to embrace the balance. Lucy smiled, a warmth breaking through the tension. But be prepared. Calthor won't back down easily. His pride is in question. As they began, the Layun warriors circled them, watching with narrowed eyes. Abir felt their stares like daggers and concentrated hard on her aim. With Lucy's guidance, she had improved, yet the pressure of disapproval often got the best of her. When she missed the target or faltered, the subtle snickers from Calthor and his group echoed in her ears. The reality of the situation weighed heavily on her. Each time Abir felt she was building momentum, Calthor, and those who rallied behind him, would find a way to undermine her efforts. "What do you think you can achieve?" he sneered one day, after she struggled with her blowpipe under his watchful gaze. "You'll never be one of us." The words cut deep. Abir tightened her grip on her blowpipe, indignation flaring inside her. "I'm trying to learn." "Trying isn't enough," he retorted, leaning forward, his expression hard as stone. "You'll only weaken our bonds with humanity." In the face of such open hostility, Abir began to withdraw, retreating into herself. The self-doubt crept in as she began to doubt whether she belonged in this vibrant but harsh world. During training sessions, she turned into a shadow of herself. She started to doubt the sensibility of the bond. Was it foolish to think they had any chance at all? Concern rippled through Lucy as she observed the changes in Abir. "You're not just facing the tribe's judgment. You're battling your own fears," she said one evening after training, as they shared a quiet moment by the fire. "Maybe they're right," Abir replied, staring into the flames as if they could provide answers. "Maybe I am weak. I'm a diplomat and negotiator, but weaponizing it all is not me. I'll never be good enough for your tribe." "Stop that," Lucy snapped, her voice firm but not unkind. "You can't let Calthor and the others dictate your worth. You have strength in ways they will never understand. Look at all you've accomplished." Abir glanced up, surprised by Lucy's intensity. "What if it's not enough?" "Then we will make it enough," Lucy insisted, determination flickering in her eyes. "When the next moon rises, I'll stand with you, and we'll face them together. We won't let anyone tear us apart." As the week progressed, Lucy's unwavering support became a lifeline for Abir. The bond deepened, though the outside pressure never lessened. The conflicts with Calthor reached a boiling point, and Abir began working on her own plan, a way to confront the brewing storm. One evening, Abir gathered the courage to confront Calthor directly during a tribal council meeting. With her heart racing, she stood before the elders and the tribe, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "You want to question my right to stand here?" she began, her voice shaky but gaining strength as she spoke. "I'm here because of the bonding law. A law that binds me to Lucy, but one that can strengthen both our peoples. Our worlds have been isolated for too long." Calthor stood, his posture imposing. "You may be here by law, but do you think your presence alone can unify us? You can't even understand the ways of the Layun." "Then allow me to learn." Abir shot back, emboldened. "Then allow me to show you what is possible if we embrace each other instead of shunning what is different. I want to bring our tribes closer together, not tear them apart." Tension crackled in the room as Abir felt the eyes of the tribe upon her. With Lucy at her side, she stood firm, refusing to bend to the pressure or feel the shame of their judgment. Calthor's face darkened, but instead of dismissing her, he paused, weighing her words. You speak bravely, human, but it may take more than just your conviction to change our fates, he warned. You have until the full moon. I'll be watching. With that, the meeting disbanded, and Abir took a deep breath, feeling a rush of adrenaline. She had taken a step towards confronting her fears. Later that night, Lucy took her hand, squeezing it tight, pride evident on her face. You did well, Abir. That was incredible. You're finding your voice. Thanks to you, Abir admitted, her heart swelling with newfound confidence. But I know Calthor won't take this lightly. That's okay, Lucy said, firelight dancing on her features. I'm not afraid of him, and you shouldn't be either. We have each other. Abir smiled, the warmth of Lucy's presence grounding her in ways she had not expected. The bond they were creating started to feel more than merely an obligation rooted in law. It was gradually transforming into a partnership. As weeks rolled into days, they worked together. Abir trained diligently, embracing her lessons with fervor. If she was to earn her place beside Lucy, she would need to prove herself to her and the tribe. The full moon loomed ahead, and with it, the deadline imposed by the tribal custom. Abir felt torn but driven. One final decision awaited her. Would she step into a new world with Lucy by her side, or would scrutiny and doubt shatter what they had built? The night of the full moon arrived, casting a silver glow over the land of Korea. Abir could feel the tension vibrating in the air, a sign that the time had come for their union to be solidified. The tribe gathered in the sacred space, an arena glowing with the soft light of bioluminescent flowers lining the entrance, each petal pulsating in rhythm with the heartbeat of the land. Lucy stood beside Abir, her presence a comforting force amid the swirling doubts. Are you ready? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I think so, Abir replied, yet uncertainty gnawed at her. Tonight, they would undergo the ancient rites of mating, marking their bond in front of the entire tribe. The customs of Lucy's people were steeped in tradition, and she would soon discover what it truly meant to accept a life intertwined with this fierce warrior. As the ceremony began, the tribal elders presided over the proceedings, their faces solemn and gravitas hanging in the air. Elder Kareth stepped forward, his voice booming. Tonight, we witnessed the union of two worlds, bound by ancient law and destiny. Calthor stood among the tribe, his expression inscrutable, yet still laced with animosity. This was a critical moment, not just for Abir and Lucy, but for the future of their tribes. Could they challenge the preconceptions that had divided them for so long? Step forward, Elder Kareth commanded, and Abir felt a mix of fear and excitement shoot through her veins. She and Lucy clasped hands tightly and moved to the center of the sacred ground, surrounded by onlookers. You have chosen each other despite the odds, Kareth continued. But you must now pledge your commitment, your loyalty, and your flesh. For a union of this magnitude requires both spirits to be offered in mutual respect and understanding. Lucy squeezed Abir's hand tighter, determination glimmering in her eyes. I vow to stand by you, to protect you, and to honor our bond, she proclaimed, her voice solid and clear. Abir's heart raced. And I vow to explore this bond, to learn from you, and to embrace the beauty of our differences, she replied, finding her confidence. In that moment, the energy shifted. As they spoke their vows aloud, the tribe around them slowly began to chant, echoing the sentiments of unity and acceptance. But it wasn't just words, it was a declaration, a commitment that transcended their individual backgrounds, blending two worlds into one harmonious existence. Then came the rite of mating. A ceremonial circle was formed, with vibrant flowers blooming fervently around them. The rituals of the Lion demanded that they partake in a dance, a celebration of their union that signified not only the joining of their souls, but their physical bodies. Abir felt the pulse of the music, an ancient melody that resonated deep within her core. With Lucy leading the way, they moved together, graceful and fluid like a river flowing over rocks. Laughter mixed with the chants, and a beer surrendered to the rhythm of it all, feeling liberated as they danced. As the dance climaxed, the moment arrived when they would embrace, symbolizing their mating officially. Lucy wrapped her arms around a beer, pulling her close. A beer felt the warmth radiate from Lucy's body, and it awakened something deep within her, a fierce connection that made the world fade away. With the moon casting its glow upon them, Lucy leaned in, her breath hot against a beer's skin. "Are you ready?" she asked, a soft urgency lacing her tone. "Yes," a beer replied, her heart pounding in anticipation. As their lips met, something electric passed between them, a spark that ignited the very air around them. It wasn't simply a kiss. It was a melding of souls, an acknowledgement of the raw power that their bond held. The Lion warriors cheered, their chants filling the air as light swirled around a beer and Lucy, amplifying their connection. In that moment, all doubts vanished. A beer felt the fear of inadequacy wash away, replaced by a profound sense of belonging. Here, with Lucy, she could be herself, a blend of human diplomacy and lion strength. When the kiss broke, the air crackled with magic and acceptance. A beer's heart swelled with love and determination. Together, they had taken a perilous step forward into the unknown, with the promise of forging an extraordinary path ahead. As the ceremony concluded, Elder Karith raised his arms. "Let it be known, a beer of Earth and Lucy of Lion are now bonded in the eyes of our tribes. May their union bring strength and prosperity to our peoples." Cheers erupted from the crowd, their voices echoing through the night. A beer and Lucy beamed at one another, knowing that this bond was more than just a law. It was a covenant born from understanding and respect, capable of transcending even the deepest divides. Together, they faced the future. No longer enemies, barely acquaintances. They were mates intertwined in purpose and surrounded by the vibrant tapestry of their cultures. The union was their future, a promise that love could rise against the gale of tradition, and unity was always stronger in diversity. In the shadow of the great moon shining bright, a beer understood she was home, embraced by Lucy, accepted by the tribe, and filled with a resolute hope for what lay ahead. The dawn of a new era awaited them, and together they were ready to face whatever challenges the cosmos would throw their way. Weeks passed since the uniting ceremony, and change rippled through both a beer and Lucy's lives. The bond they forged resonated within the hearts of the Lion people, challenging generations of thought. Their connection became emblematic of what was possible when cultures intertwined, and hope blossomed. As a beer learned the ways of the Lion, she bridged the cultural gaps that threatened to divide them. Meetings between the tribes grew more frequent, with the elders collaborating on future endeavors, projects focused on sharing knowledge and resources, trading goods and ideas. One day, a beer and Lucy stood atop a hill overlooking the valley, watching the Lion and humans work side by side. A sense of pride mixed with joy swelled in a beer's heart, knowing they had achieved more than they had ever imagined. "Look at them," Lucy murmured, her arm wrapped securely around a beer's waist. "This is just the beginning." A beer glanced at Lucy, heart fluttering with affection. "Do you think this bond will hold strong?" "Stronger than any tradition bound by fear and dominance," Lucy replied, determination etched in her features. "We are writing our own story, and it shall be one of unity." The sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a warm glow over them. A beer squeezed Lucy's hand, feeling the pulse of their connection. Together, they were building a bridge of understanding, piece by piece, every day. And although the road would be fraught with challenges, a beer now knew she could face whatever came their way. The mating had not just solidified their physical union, it ignited a love that would guide them through the storms ahead. With a resolute heart, a beer turned to face the horizon, ready to meet the dawn and embrace the myriad possibilities waiting for them. The future was bright with hope, love, and the promise of adventure together.